Are you ready? Okay. Welcome everyone to the Municipality of Tweed Council meeting for Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. We always begin our meetings with our land acknowledgement. The Municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. Thank you. Could I have a move and a seconder for the approval of today's agenda? A move and a seconder, please. Oh, first of all, Councillor Palmetier, are you on? Oh, wait, sorry to get him back. You back? We're good? Okay. Councillor Palmetier can't be with us this evening, but he wanted to make sure that he participated in this evening's meeting, and he has a little something he wants to share. So over to you, Councillor Palmetier.
Hi, everyone. My apologies for not being there tonight. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes. No, I'm not there tonight because last week we welcomed a new beautiful baby girl into our lives. So just helping care for her and mama, and don't want to be too far away. So thanks for understanding.
Congratulations. And Councillor Palmetier, just in case I miss, like if I don't see you on the screen, you want to say something, you just interject, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so can I have a move and a seconder for today's council agenda, please? Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Any questions on the said agenda? Yes, Deputy Mayor Demarche.
Mayor, I'd like to move on that we strike from the agenda items 7.3.1 and 7.3.2 as items previously disposed of by council.
7.3.1. Okay, so you make that move. Okay.
I'm moving that to be struck from the agenda.
Okay. Can I have a seconder, please? Okay, seconded by Councillor Fleeler. All in favor? Motion or whatever defeated. Okay. Jacob?
I just want to, if I could further these items were discussed and decided on at the last council meeting.
And that's why they've been brought forward based on the conversations of the last council meeting. If I might remind you, we asked the public works manager to come back with a report of what roads we would put off, okay, until the next council. And then the only reason why it's coming forth, my understanding with the other one, is because it was also motioned by Councillor Palmetier that if there was a road that was identified as a safety issue, to bring that back. And I think that is what you were doing. Following through on our previous. So thank you very much though for raising that, and then we'll get to that when we do.
Could I ask for a recorded vote on the agenda, Mayor, please?
Did we have already voted? We already. Okay. Oh no, we voted on the resolution. Yes. Okay, Laurie.
So the resolution.
It's not the resolution, it's the agenda.
So the resolution is, be it resolved that the agenda for the August 11th, 2026 regular council meeting be approved as presented.
Go ahead.
Deputy Mayor Demarche, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Palmetier, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Fleeler, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Valiquette, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mayor DeGenova, how do you vote?
In favor.
The motion is carried 3-2.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Could I have a mover and a second for the adoption of the minutes from the July 21st, 2026 regular council meeting, please? A mover and a second for the adoption of those minutes. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on said minutes? Seeing none, be it resolved that the minutes of the July 21st, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Good. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to do my mayor's remarks now. Congratulations to the Tweed and Area Arts Council on what I've been told was a phenomenal success. While many hands helped make this event possible, I would like to make special mention of Bonnie Marentet, who hasn't been involved with the project since 2009. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend, but I am grateful that Deputy Mayor DeMarche, Councillors Fleeler and Valiquette were present. Once again, thank you to our Public Works team for responding to yet another severe weather event. More than 3 inches of rain caused flooding in our municipality, and once again, you were there helping to keep our residents safe. These extreme weather events are becoming far too common, and we are truly fortunate to have such a dedicated team. I would like to also do a shout out to Mayo Hako and her team at Gateway Community Health Center. I've had a number of residents comment on how lucky we are to have such a caring center in our community, and I couldn't agree more. It's been a relatively quiet 3 weeks. There are no Hastings County meetings during July. On July 22nd, I met with Stephen Brown and Mark Tremblay to discuss innovative approaches to responding to the growing homelessness crisis. Stephen previously served as minister at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and it was wonderful to reconnect with him. On August 10th, CAO Diskey, Deputy Clerk Assistant Planning Assistant Wales, and I met with Justin Harrow and Gabe Garrett from Hastings County Planning to discuss how we get a proposed housing development back on track. This has been an exceptional year for the municipal infrastructure projects. We recently finished phase 1 of the Flinton Road reconstruction project. Prior to that, we successfully installed 2 prefabricated bridges, the Queensborough and Kinlan bridges. Our next major project will focus on the upgrades to our municipal well system and decommissioning of an old well. Someone wonder why all of this activity is simply because it happens to be an election year. It isn't. These projects are moving forward because council began rebuilding our reserves, allowing to invest in our infrastructure. Let's not forget that infrastructure projects used to be funded equally by all levels of government, but today we must front 100% of the costs. That being said, we are grateful for the $820,000 we received from the province for our well upgrades, our first successful provincial infrastructure application in 4 years. Looking back, I'm especially proud that council was able to move from talking about infrastructure needs to actually delivering projects. Roads, bridges, and water infrastructure may not always make headlines, but they are the foundation upon which our community depends. While crews were in the midst of reconstruction, the OPP considered directing Highway 7 traffic onto Flinton Road because of closures along the highway. Ultimately, that route was changed. Then approximately 2 weeks later, after the road work had been completed, the OPP redirected traffic to Flinton Road following the recent storm that caused significant damage to sections of the highway. Flinton Road has become much more than a local municipal road. It regularly serves as an important detour route for provincial traffic, carrying volumes it was not designed to accommodate. Also, the fact that GPS programs redirect traffic to this key road in order to save travel time doesn't help. That is why we repeatedly requested $1.4 million provincial funding to assist with its reconstruction. While I remain disappointed that our requests were unsuccessful, I continue to believe municipalities like Tweed deserve a fair share of provincial infrastructure funding, particularly when local roads are relied upon to support the provincial highway network. This week, I reached out to MP Cramp Nyman to ask whether she had the opportunity to walk our housing proposal over to the office of Minister Robertson, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure. She confirmed that she did on June 10th. I made this request because despite sending letters to the minister dated July 2nd, 2025 and April 9th, 2026, we have yet to receive a response. I find this particularly disappointing because our proposal is not simply a request for government funding. We have proposed a program of interest-free loans to assist small rural and northern developers with the infrastructure costs that can prevent housing projects from moving forward. The loans would be repaid as homes are sold, allowing the provincial or federal government to recover its investment with the only cost being the foregone interest. Unlike many large urban housing initiatives, our model does not envision decades of subsidization, with higher levels of government carrying the financing costs and amortizing those investments over 30 to 35 years. Our proposal is designed to recover the investment as homes are sold, potentially within 5 to 10 years. I continue to believe that it is fundamentally unfair for small rural and northern municipalities and their taxpayers to be disadvantaged while large urban housing developments receive significant government support. Rural Ontario deserves access to innovative housing programs that recognize our very different circumstances and challenges. Minister Robertson will be speaking at the next week's AMO conference, and I am hoping to have the opportunity to meet with him directly to discuss our proposal. MP Cramp Nyman has also assured me that she will write to the minister asking why there has been no response to our letters. I remain hopeful that with persistence, we will finally get this proposal, this proposal the consideration it deserves. I'm also looking forward to attending MP Cramp Nyman's AMO West Block event at that time. And this just came in this afternoon. The Center for Workforce Development, CFWD, is pleased to announce a free identification and employment clinic that will help vulnerable, low-income, and unhoused individuals access the identification, employment supports, and community services they need to move forward. The free drop-in clinic is being hosted at Madoc at 139 St. Lawrence Street East on August 28th, 2026 from 9:30 to 3 o'clock. I forwarded that on to Cindy Chow to post on our Facebook page. And I've also reached out to them and asked them if they will consider doing something at our Gateway Community Health Center. I would also like to remind anyone considering running for council that there are only 11 days remaining to register for this municipal election. Thank you to everyone who's already stepped forward to serve our community. I wish all candidates the very best as they begin their campaigns. Enjoy what remains of summer. The days seem to pass a little more quickly each year, and that's perhaps something to do with my age. But anyway, stay safe. Okay. Delegations. Oh, yes. Now I'd like to welcome Natasha Matthew to the microphone, and she's going to walk us through some things that she needs to share on source water protection for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor DeGenova. I'll just wait until Lucas gets that on the screen so you can see everything.
And Natasha's microphone's on. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we are here today for source water protection updates. You can go to the next slide, Lucas. I have with me today on the call, there is Darren Burr from Dillon Consulting. They've been doing a lot of the work towards this project. And I also have James Walker, who was helping with the modeling of this project. So if there's any technical questions, they will be here to assist if you have them. So we'll just start off today with a little bit of a refresher about source water protection. So as you may remember in the Walkerton inquiry back in 2000, there was a lot of recommendations that were made, and one of them was the multi-barrier approach. So the first step in the multi-barrier approach is actually source water protection, because protecting your drinking water is most effective when you protect it at the source before it even gets into your treatment system. So as another little point to point out is that this is a locally led and science-based program. So with all of the changes that we're going to be talking about today, it is locally led, and we have science to back us up on what we have decided. So if you go to the next slide, Lucas. So in the Quinte area, we have our source protection plan. So this map here shows you the area that we have policies for municipal drinking water systems. In Quinte, we have 11 municipal drinking water systems. 4 of them are groundwater wells, and 7 of them are surface water intakes. Whenever a municipal system undergoes a change, so either that's a change in location or a change in vulnerability, there are amendments that we have to do to the plan to make sure that it is current and up to date. So because there are going to be some changes with the municipal well in Tweed, we have to make changes to our plan to make sure that all of our policies are still applicable to the areas that they affect. So that'll be a section 34 amendment. And today we're hopefully going to pass a municipal resolution to continue with changing or updating our source protection plan. So to give you an idea, just a reminder of what a wellhead protection area is. So this map is the current map for Tweed's wells. You have one on Hungerford Road, which is the north well, and one on Crookston Road, which is the south well. So in this picture, you have the dark orange, or if you can see really well, there is a teeny tiny green dot, and that is where your well is located, or your wells. The dark orange is the wellhead protection area A. That is a 100-meter radius around the well. Then it goes to the wellhead protection area B, which is 2 years time of travel. C, 5-year time of travel, and D is 25-year time of travel. Now, back in 2023, we noticed there was an issues with nitrates, rising levels of nitrates in the groundwater. So we delineated a new area called the Issues Contributing Area, or ICA. And that's the area where any levels of nitrate could be contributing to the municipal drinking water. So those are a little bit about the wellhead protection areas. Essentially what it is the areas surrounding the municipal well where certain activities could cause a threat to the drinking water. And then obviously the times of travel are based off of vulnerability, geological features, and so on. So that's just a little reminder of what your wellhead protection areas are. In our plan, we have many tools that can address these activities. So in this list here, you have the most restrictive at the top and the least restrictive at the bottom. All of these policies in our plan, they use these different tools to ensure that your drinking water is safe based off of the activities that are occurring around the well. If you don't mind going to the next one. So currently, this is what your system looks like. On the left, you have the 2 wells, so one on Hungerford and one on Crookston. With the changes that have been proposed by the municipality to us, they are going to remove the 1 well on Hungerford Road, and they were adding an additional well beside or close to the existing well in Crookston. So it's going to change the wellhead protection area quite a bit. So as you can see on the photo there, it does the original one, or the current one, it goes over Hungerford, and the updated one will go below it. So it is reducing the size of the wellhead protection area based on the location of the municipal wells. If you go to the next one. So you can go one more. Perfect. So because of this, we have to change the size of the issues contributing area as well. So this is where we went to Dillon Consulting to help us delineate the new issues contributing area for the new well, or the new location of your municipal supply. So on the left, it used to be the entire wellhead protection area because we didn't know where the source of nitrates was coming from. And that's the way that we decided to delineate back in 2023, the issues contributing area for Tweed. So moving forward, if this is approved and we do a little bit more work and get it approved by the ministry, the updated side on the right is what the new map will look like. So you'll have your wellhead protection areas that are the 100-meter radius. So because there's 2 wells located beside each other, it doesn't look like a perfect circle anymore. It kind of looks like an oblong oval. And that's just to accommodate the 100 meters from both wells. Then your other areas are very similar to the ones that you currently have, just smaller to accommodate for that 1 well location. And then if you go 2 more, Lucas. Perfect. That purple line is going to be the new issues contributing area. So Dillon can speak more about it if you have questions, but essentially what we did is we used modeling to map the areas that would drain in to that green area. So that 25-year time of travel. So anything that would drain into that area would be included in the issues contributing area for Tweed for the nitrates issue. So how is it going to impact your community? So with the current situation we have with Hungerford and Crookston well, we have about 179 properties that are included in those wellhead protection areas. And with the new well proposed, it would reduce it by 75 properties. So there would only be 104 properties within that wellhead protection area. The number of significant drinking water threats will also decrease from 89 to 52, with a decrease in 37 drinking water threats. That's because they are outside of the area that would be considered significant to that community's drinking water source. So a little bit about the process with these amendments. So first of all, we need to identify that this amendment needs to occur. And essentially what happens is you tell me that, oh, we want to do something, we want to move our well, and we want to get rid of a well. So that's what has already happened. So number one is complete. Because of the situation with it being an election year, we are kind of doing things a little bit in a different order to make sure we have municipal council resolution before we can go to the public and do consultation. So that's why we're doing the red under 3 first before we go to the public, just because we want to make sure we have that resolution in order to continue. And then once we have all of the changes to our plan and our assessment report, we will submit it to the Ministry of the Environment to be approved. And then once that's approved, then it will become the new plan.
What's the turnaround time for stuff like that? Typically, roughly?
For an amendment to be approved?
No, yeah, for the province to get back to you.
It depends. So there have been some changes to the Clean Water Act, and there is a new, they call it a shot clock. So essentially the minister has X amount of days to make an approval for this type of amendment. And if they don't make it, then it is automatically approved.
Okay.
So that's fairly new, but previously it can be between like 2 years. Yeah, roughly 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, to get an amendment approved.
So, but we're going ahead and doing it, and what if they came back and they said, no, you can't? They go, or do they just automatically approve? I mean, 2 years, my God, that's ridiculous.
It is a very long time. It goes through a lot of levels in the ministry. So it goes through, we have like a program analyst that reviews it. They give us comments. We take the comments and adjust the plan if there's anything. Same with public consultation. So it's a very consolidative process. So for example, once we have everything essentially done, we open it to public consultation for about 35 days. So over a month. We take all the comments that were given. We either decide if they need to be included or if they are addressed already. And then we do the same with all of the implementing bodies, all of the ministries, everything like that. So it can be a long time, but hopefully with the changes to the Clean Water Act, it will be faster.
Okay, thank you.
So once it's approved, the plan, there's a few things that we start doing. We'll start implementing the plan itself. So we'll revisit any risk management plans that were in the wellhead protection area before and determine if they need to be edited, if they need to be revoked, or if there are any types of activities that might have changed over the years. We also will provide education and outreach to your residents. We do that for your municipalities year round. So if there's any opportunity where you guys would like us to come and talk to your residents, we're more than happy to do so. And then because it has the issues contributing area, we will continue to monitor for nitrates to make sure that your drinking water is still protected from the raising nitrates.
Okay, thank you.
And then I left it open to questions. So if anyone has any questions for me.
First of all, wonderful presentation, and it's always great to be reminded of this stuff and walk through the process and how it works. What I'm going to ask is, like, this is an old council coming to the end of its life, going to be a new council coming in, and Ron and Lori, it would be good if we could bring them back at some point to train run the same presentation, just as a learning opportunity for the new council. Okay.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Well done. Oh, yes,
Oh.
Councillor Flayler.
Yeah, so if in the previous round, when they were doing the clean water, there was an opportunity for residents to apply for funding. Will that be available if they need to do specific things to mitigate issues?
Like there were farmers that
Yeah,
they had to capture their manure in certain cement bins and stuff, and they got funding to be able to do that.
Unfortunately, we don't have any funding associated with these things, like the risk management plans. We used to at the beginning.
Yeah.
We do have some programs. I'm not exactly sure what activities are included in them, but there are some grant opportunities that our office is working with, and I believe there is some agricultural opportunities.
And when I look at your map, though, I don't think I think we pretty much captured those entities we're talking about already.
Yes,
And-
yeah. For the majority of the properties,
Yes.
they were either already in it and will continue to be in it, or they are no longer going to be in a wellhead protection area, zone A, B, C, D.
Right.
They might just be in the issues contributing area.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, thank you very much, Natasha. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. The resolution? Okay.
Sorry, thank you.
I kind of need that one.
Sorry about that. Okay, so could I have a mover and a seconder to table the following resolution? Be it resolved that council receive the presentation of staff report prepared by Natasha Matthew, Source Water Protection Program Coordinator and Risk Management Official with Quinney Conservation as presented. And further, that council endorse the amendments to the source water protection contained in the staff report to address the removal of well number 1 and the addition of well number 4 from the Tweed system. Thank you, Councillor Fleer. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, be it resolved that the resolution be approved as read. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, moving on to our next delegation. Welcome back, Corey. If you'd like to come up to the microphone, please.
Thank you for having me. I sent some photos in. Can we go? Yeah.
I can try.
Oh,
They had them in.
they had, you guys received them. Okay. The delegation headline that I submitted was the Stoco Area Recreational Arena and future steps towards Stoco becoming a Hamlet Committee member. Can't remember to breathe. Hello, I am Corey Holmes, and I am a resident in the hamlet of Stoco. I am here today to speak on behalf of my community of Stoco about the recent notice closed, do not use signs posted at the entrances of the Stoco Arena. Project scope, clear details on what needs to be done. I recently spoke to an engineer's assistant that was taking photos at the Stoco Arena on the morning of Friday, August 7th. The building was posted closed a month before that date. Do we have any information yet about what work needs to be completed for repairs? Current status, neglect of routine maintenance of the building and the grounds surrounding it. 34 new large structural posts were added in 2018. The building was painted and new wood boards were added approximately 2 decades ago. When will the municipality be addressing any of these concerns? When will quotes for repairs be provided to the municipality's council for consideration? I spoke with a local licensed electrician who said, in their opinion, any repairs to the electrical in the building or in the arena building would potentially cost less than $1,000. A ponytail connection exposed at a light junction box, a replacement of a few bulb guards. The same electrician said that in other municipalities, a city worker will do a routine safety inspection once a month for hazards like broken glass and to ensure the facility is functioning properly. Does the municipality of Tweed have records for Stoco Arena going back years because of issues such as timers for lights being broken and have gone unnoticed and not addressed? What can be done by fundraising in the community by groups like the Kiwanis Club, the Lions Club, and more? What can local businesses or private citizens that want to donate, volunteer, or contribute to this project do? What can the municipality do to organize this as a priority project to be completed as soon as possible? This is not the only issue in Stoco neglecting to repair infrastructure when needed. What are the steps needed to be taken for Stoco to have a seat at the municipality of Tweed's Hamlet Committee meetings? Speaking with other residents, they said they would like a children playing sign added near the playground and on corners of concern. Why was the arena building closure not made public on the municipality of Tweed's noticed too on social media. When I spoke with Cindy on July 9th, I was told there would be a meeting to discuss parks and recreation and what we want. The meeting on August 24th is only regarding, quote, survey community input for Tweed Memorial Park. Stoco was not even an option to answer online. I plan to attend that meeting on August 24th. Do I need to get signatures on a formal public petition for this work to be prioritized by the municipality's budget? I would like to see a conversation with the community and the municipality about what to do in Stoco. I have been told recently a Stoco youth submitted a letter to the municipality requesting a basketball net to be added. Why can it not be added? Tweed Fairground has basketball nets. What would it cost to do it safely, outside or inside, after the repairs of the existing structure are completed? The Tweed municipality slogan is explore our backyard. My backyard has flooding issue caused by other neglected maintenance by the municipality for decades. Improper work completed last year without proper permits. That was until today to be removed and done to Quinte Conservation's satisfaction. Leaving this inadequate drainage as well as debris fields of backfills has left additional safety concerns, including a lot of exposed rusted sharp shards of metal at the ground surface level. This was brought to Ryan and Ron's attention 9 months ago and council's attention 4 months ago, yet it is still there today. The municipality roads department did arrive today, August 11th, 2026, to replace the failed Big O French drain with the proper size 17-inch culvert. On July 9th, I walked the parks and recreational area surrounding the Stoco Arena with Cindy, and we found a full pail of rusty metal shards in just one small area, some too large to be removed by hand. The lack of action here and work not yet completed is unacceptable risk to our community's safety. Continued flooding in the area only leads to more erosion of the soil that is damaging the foundation of buildings and the paved floor of this arena. I would like to see all repairs completed in the next year, so this facility does not fall further into disrepair. The entire municipality of Tweed can continue to enjoy this facility for many more decades. It was always open until now and free to use, a facility for a wide variety of activities such as ball hockey, rollerblading, skateboarding, indoor soccer, tennis without nets, learning how to ride a bike, covered exercise area, a location for music in the park when the forecast for bad weather, a potential location for a community organized outdoor rink in the winter, large family events, shade from sun or shelter from the rain for people using the Stoco playground and parks and recreational areas such as Tweed Minor baseball, dry land training for Tweed Minor hockey or youth not yet enrolled in the expensive organized ice hockey, Family Feud baseball tournaments, Friday Night Baseball League, as well as many other locals that use this building as a gathering point in our Hamlet community. A seat at the Hamlet committee meeting would address some concerns and give Stoco residents a continued voice to be heard about what is most important here. In future budgets, potential funds could be allocated for beautification and improvements to the Stoco area, such as adding pickleball lines to the paved area inside, and potential of purchasing a portable pickleball net with costs ranging from $100 to $300 for a beginner lightweight system, not professional. The replacement of decades-old landscaping fabric and a cement retaining wall around the open ditch pond at the west wall footing of the arena building instead of weeds growing over 5 feet tall, potential for wild parsnip, increased risk of tick, and a baseball water trap. There are more safety concerns in the recreational area. After work is completed, to make the arena safe again, new signage could be added to the building, paying tribute to the dedication of the Stoco Area Recreational Association in 1975, or SARA, and the history of the community and families that come together to build this building, including the baseball field and the first playground to be enjoyed by so many people over the past 50 years. I believe. It's the end of my speech. If would like to have a discussion.
Well, thank you very much, Corey. We appreciate you coming to us again. And I was pleased to hear that, yes, that drainage issue had been addressed today, is my understanding. So you've raised a lot of interesting points, and I think items that definitely council has to consider. Anything to do with major expansion or like, building and whatnot, that will have to be deferred to the next council because it's a budgetary thing. And, but I'm going to ask that our existing team continue to do the work and investigate what you are talking about, even the inclusion of Stoco as a hamlet, so that they can have information ready for the next council as soon as they sit to begin to address this. Because shortly thereafter, they start that budgeting cycle. And then we want to make sure, well, I think council would like to make sure that whatever whatever we're looking at is going to be entertained at that time. Okay.
I understand there's a process and it takes time, and I have spoke to multiple people, and I think there's a lot of interest in the community that wants to see this building maintained, restored, not drastic changes to what was there already. What are the steps, I guess, is my question to the municipality, for Stoco to have a position in the Hamlet Committee?
That again, I'm going to recommend that we not be the ones that make that decision, that we wait till the new council makes that decision, because if we do that, I think also they're going to have to entertain sulfide at the same time. And so rather than us make that decision right now and then and impose that on the new council, being that it's the first time we've heard this from anybody, and I'm saying, like, thank you for coming forward. I think we would leave that to the next council. We only have one more Hamlet meeting this year anyway. October, so I'd wait at the very end. So I would recommend that this, I'm just recommending, I'm going to throw it up to council here, but I mean, that's my recommendation. Yes, Jim.
So your worship, many years, a local resident brought up 21 guys from the States. They had a dinner. It was $100 a plate. All that money went to the Stoco and area recreational facility. Every one of those guys contributed to that, all American citizens. The effort from the volunteer community around here to try to make recreational space available for the children, for people coming into town. I mean, I've got a soft spot in my heart for all this kind of stuff. And I sure appreciate what you're trying to do, and I will do everything I can to keep this here. I don't know if I'll be here next term, but maybe I'll be on the committee. But I sure appreciate your interest in this bill, and there's many more out there with the same interest.
I understand the not being able to commit a financial decision today, but what is the harm in the conversation continuing? Like, I don't want to have to present a delegation 3, 4, or 5 times for, like, not that I mind, but there should be, like, I know that there's a meeting on August 24th. Is it too late to have the Stoco recreational area added to that agenda for the Parks and Recreation? It's not just me, and I can't speak for everyone.
I'm sorry, so you mean to make a decision on whether to include Stoco as a hamlet?
To hear the community.
Oh, you can, the community, if you want to come back, the community as a whole wants to come back and present to us, that is fine. I'm just saying that what you've done today is wonderful. It plants the seed. This council is not, we can't commit to spending money during this term because our budget, as everybody has said, is already accounted for. But we would like to see this carry forward with the recommendation that the new council consider what both things: funding after they get the required information on how much this is going to cost, funding the new installation or repairs to the existing installation, and to look at whether or not we extend the concept of the hamlet within our community to include other people who would be interested. That's
How would we be heard after today?
after today, what would happen is Cindy's going to continue and team are going to continue to compile the information. And then what they're going to do is they'll probably, if there's like, right now, like there's nothing that can come to us that we will be able to decide after the 22nd. But it will be there ready for the next council. And I think what would happen is you would be invited back to the new council just to share again what you've just shared. No need to create. Yes, go ahead.
I could just comment that at the beginning of each year, council approves the committees for the year. And at that time, staff can make a recommendation to the council that Stokoe or what other hamlets might be interested can be added to our committee structure.
And do we do
And-
that during the first meeting or the second meeting?
It's usually right at the beginning or the end
Okay.
of the year for start of
Okay.
January 1st. So that's something, like you said, staff can investigate the options and have everything ready for the new council for inclusion with that committee
Okay,
structuring
that
at the
sounds
beginning
good.
of the
So you
year.
don't have to come back. Okay, so what will happen is we will staff during the first council, when they're doing this, they're going to say, before we approve this, we've had a request by Stokoe who would like to become a hamlet and present the information that you did to accompany that, and then have council vote on it at that time. So you won't have to come back.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Sounds good.
Just briefly, your worship.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Another point that was brought up by Mr. Holmes was other communities have a person in place to take care of the small loose ends during the year. We didn't have that until recently. We now have a facilities manager,
Yes.
and these are the things that we're starting to catch. Just trying to be, yes, it's money that's spent each year, but we're trying to catch them before it builds and becomes a real expensive bill. So
Mhm.
just to answer that question, we do have a person in place, and
New.
maybe they'd be willing to show you some of the things that you've seen and that we've seen with that building.
Thank you very much, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, please, go ahead.
Really quickly. So I agree with what you're saying, and there's certainly, like Councillor Fleet was saying, some wisdom in moving forward and looking after what we currently have. One of the ideas that I do particularly like is the hamlet issue, and maybe something you could do in the interim would be there's nothing stopping you from attending current meetings, right, to see what goes on. If next council decides that they want to adopt that and bring other hamlets, other areas into it, then you would kind of be able to hit the ground running and you'd understand what the committee can do for you.
In the meantime, I don't want to be the only voice, and I don't want to be handling financing. If community partners like the Kiwanis or Lions Club have funds that they are interested in, what is the scope of the project?
If you say we say we go ahead and we want to refurbish the arena, the outdoor arena. Well, then what would happen is council can coordinate taking in the funds, not necessarily fundraising, but taking in the funds, because it's going to go to an initiative that we will ultimately build. Okay, so we've done that with the accessible playground, the heater for the pool, so we can undertake that. Okay, but you would be required to, like, if we move ahead and we say there's going to be a fundraising component to that, you would have to lead the charge on that aspect of it.
Absolutely. And the petition part, is that something?
I don't think you need it right now.
Okay.
Okay. But it doesn't hurt to have it, but I don't think you need it right now. Okay?
I don't want to rock the boat. I want to
No,
work
you're not
with
rocking the
people.
boat. You're not
I
rocking. any
want
boat.
to see the
Yeah, no,
community
you're
restored.
not rocking the boat. Yes, that might not hurt, so go ahead. Okay, yes, Council Field.
So, Your Worship, in the meantime, if there are people interested in contributing, they could donate right today.
No, they can't,
They
because we
can't?
have not agreed that we're
Okay.
leaving it to next council to decide whether or not
Alright.
they want to continue. Okay, so that would be,
Okay.
yeah, no,
Okay.
no. So, yeah, okay,
Okay.
but we'll work with you on that.
Perfect.
Next council will work
To
with
the
you on
next
that.
council.
Good presentation again.
Good job.
I'm sorry, no questions from the floor, sorry. Okay. Okay, now we're moving on to departmental reports. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the, goodbye. Chief Administrative Office update, please, a mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councilor Palmetier. Thank you, Councilor Valiquette. Okay, over to you, Ron.
Thank you, and through the chair, just a few updates on this report. I wanted to thank Ryan Reed and his team, our Public Works Manager and the Public Works staff for their work on Flinton Road. I just wanted to emphasize that this is the third capital project that Ryan and his team have worked on. We've put in 2 bridges this year. Now we've completed this one. I don't think people realize how much effort and time staff put into these projects. They're basically, Ryan is the project manager on these. So I just wanted to ensure that that was recognized. Again, as the mayor mentioned, we're having some extreme climate events. On August 3rd, we had roads flooding and a road closure on Rockies Road. Again, Ryan and his team remediated that damage and reopened that road. Number 3, County Conservation has issued a yellow flood warning. I'm not sure if you've been down to Stokel Lake or Memorial Park, but we have a lot of high water levels there. Benches have been flooded almost up to the playground again. From what I understand, this is quite uncharacteristic for this time of year, especially after last year's drought season. Fire season or fire services has been successful in recruiting a new training officer. I'm happy to welcome Greg Eagles to our team. So Greg has already started. And just a friendly reminder that on August 24th, Monday, August 24th at 6 p.m., we'll be at the Kiwanis Pavilion at Memorial Park, taking feedback in person about what people have for a vision for that park and what ideas they bring to the table. So we're excited about that. Staff have told me, Brittany and Cindy have told me that we've already received over 90 online submissions. So there seems to be an interest in the future of this park. So I think this is going to be a real interesting and eye-opening exercise for us and the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the CO? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the CO update report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the hazardous waste program services update? Thank you, Councillor, Deputy Mayor Demarche, and thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Over to you, Ron.
Thank you, and again, through the mayor to the rest of the council. This is just an information report seeking interest and seeking a motion to indicate that we are still interested in working with the city of Belleville to provide a hazardous waste depot there at that location for our municipality. We have given feedback on this RFP. It's basically an RFP starting in July of 2027 for hazardous waste. In the past, or right now, we have the option of moving forward with mobile events here in the municipality. We've chosen not to due to the cost. So we have given them feedback that we would like to see that cost come down. We're also working on a battery collection program. We're looking to see if there are options. 360 has removed our battery collection bin here at the office. We are close to confirming that there are other programs out there that might be available at no cost and that we could bring those barrels back into the community. So basically, this report is asking for an endorsement that we're interested to continue with our partnership with the city of Belleville. The cost this year is approximately $9,000, and we anticipate the cost to be similar going forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Yes, Councillor Fleetwood.
Your worship, this makes me really upset. We had a fairly good
We did.
program in place. It wasn't perfect, but it was fairly sufficient. I don't remember the cost of hazardous waste or dangerous goods, battery collection, all that kind of stuff. But it's so important that we get this stuff in a position that we can send it to a facility to deal with it or to recycle whatever we can. Other than that, people pitch it in the wayside or along the edge of the road.
Mhm.
So I mean, the $10,000 is kind of ridiculous amount of money, I would think, to have just a couple of pickups in a year. There's no other opportunities other than the city of Belleville. I know they've got a pretty good program, or they did have. That's about the only option we have.
Well, through the chair, we're not aware of any other programs. This is now being run by the province with their Circular Materials Ontario. This is part of their purview, so.
I agree with Councillor Fleeler. I mean, we did have an amazing program when we were with Quinny Waste. And they did come in and two times a year.
Yeah, a couple times a
Yeah.
year.
Through the chair, I'm gonna, apparently I'm wrong, so I'm gonna refer back to my Public Works Manager, who obviously knows more than me. So
Okay, go ahead.
Ryan.
So,
Through the chair, we used to pay Quinny Waste Solutions to manage this program for us. With them dissolving, we are no longer a part of that. So Belleville took the initiative to invite all the municipalities together to join in their operation to use their hazardous waste depot. This allows our residents to use their depot 365 all year, and then they have somewhere to take all this stuff. Unfortunately, now that we don't have the mobile events, that was a separate issue. We don't come and pick them up around here, but at least residents get the option to take them somewhere. So they still shouldn't end up in our ditches or in our landfill. They should know enough to take them down to Belleville and dispose of it for the $10,000.
but I think what Councillor Fleeler was getting at, yes, we're lucky, we're grateful we have that program, but
Mhm.
there are individuals that will not take the time and effort to go down and do that. And that's what was nice about having a mobile event here. I would be interesting if we could see if there is another way to, to do it at a more reasonable cost, if staff has an opportunity to look at it. Again, it's nothing we're going to be able to do this year, so it would be information for the next council. But I agree with him, and I'm glad that you are pursuing battery containers to take away old batteries, because that's another huge thing. We had a great program, like you said, going. I mean, it's too bad, like all these changes are just making it more difficult for residents and end up costing everybody more in the long run. So, any other questions? Thank you for that update. Be it resolved that council received the hazardous waste program services report as presented, and further the council approve the municipality of Tweed continuing as a partner in the hazardous waste program service cost sharing initiative, which allows residents to access the Belleville hazardous waste depot. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Quinny Conservation preliminary budget, please? Mover and a seconder. Jim? Council, thank you, Councillor Fleeler, and thank you, Councillor Valiquette. This is a preliminary budget. This is they're just giving us an opportunity to comment. It's being tabled so that we have it in advance. This is not committing the next council, but they need to get feedback on it if we have any concerns or whatever at this point before the new council sits in. So are there any questions on their budget? It's a reasonable increase and
It's well laid out.
it's well laid out. Okay. Be it resolved, the council received the Quinny Conservation preliminary budget report as presented, and further that staff requests Quinny Conservation Authority to invoice municipality. Oh, this is in addition. We introduced this last year. Rather than paying a full lump sum upfront, we negotiated to pay it in 2 installments. And so this is just saying that we would like to continue to pay in 2 installments, January and July of 2027, as was requested in our 2026 budget. All in favor? Thank you. Did we just do an update or something? Yeah, something flipped there. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure where I am now then. So we're doing treasurer's report now? Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the second quarter forecast 2026, please? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette, and thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Cindy, oh, there she is. Okay, welcome, Cindy. I'm going to turn it over to you if you would like us to walk through your reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Good evening. Yes, I'm just going to kind of walk through the report. I think I've identified all the areas that we've got variances, but so all the managers got together and have looked at all their numbers again and trying to come up with a forecast of where they think they're going to be at year end. Now remembering that this is only second quarter. So what it looks like as far as second quarter is there would be a net deficit of $39,000. And this variance is based on a forecast decrease in revenue, partially offset by lower expected expenses. So in total, revenue is forecast to decrease by 110,000 and expenses are forecast to decrease by 71,000. We have to remember, though, this is second quarter forecast. So oftentimes things get better as we go forward because at this point in the year, managers tend to hang on to their money, even though maybe they're not spending it all, but they don't know that they're not going to spend it. So in my experience, I've seen things always get better at third quarter. Now I'm hoping this is going to be the same situation here, but the issue that we're having, I think that's causing a lot of these expenses though, is climate change, and it is winter extremes and that type of thing. But what I want to do is I just want to briefly walk through this report to identify where the changes seem to be happening. So, and I'm going to look at expenses versus the revenue because the expenses are where all the variances are happening. So total operating expenses are forecast to be $278,000 over budget. Not a good thing. Capital expenditures are forecast to be $349,000 under budget. Now, while we don't normally want capital to offset operating, because if we think that we're not going to do the work that we planned, that's not really the case here. And the reason why we're under in budget for capital is for the most part due to better pricing. But I want to walk through just the departments, and you have a table too that identifies operating expense increases and decreases and capital increases and decreases. And it identifies, there's a couple departments with very large operating expense increases. One of them is Public Works at a $223,000 increase, offset partially by reduction in capital, and that's better prices of $82,000. So net for operating expenses is a $141,000 increase. So if we look at, so operating expenses total over is $278,000. So Public Works has 223 of that, Parks has 120,000 of that increase, and the Fire Department 40,000. These increases are partially offset by decreases in the arena of 66,000, garbage collection of 22,000, administration of 21,000, and community development of 16,000. On the capital side, capital expenditures are forecast 349,000 below budget. And the largest decrease relates to the HSWS project, where 244,000 is expected to be deferred into 2027. It's not that we're not doing it, it's just that the project is pushed off a little bit more. So some of the expenses that we planned in 2026 are going to happen in 2027. The other areas that we have decreases in capital are administration of 46,000 and Public Works of 82,000. And then there's some increases in capital in fire of 20,000 and the swimming pool 6,000. If we go through department by department, that's the next in this report. It identifies what's going on in each department. So for example, in the administration department, operating expenses are forecast to decrease a net $21,000. And this is mainly due to lower costs in salaries and benefits. We have a $49,000 decrease due to staff vacancies. And we've removed $22,000 for the DC study that, well, we're not sure, but I don't think it might not be happening in 2026. If it is, then that cost is going to have to come back.
No.
But these savings are partially offset by increases in other areas. For example, professional services, there's a $35,000 forecast increase, and that's related to coverage for the staff vacancy. Because we have a staff vacancy in Treasury, we are offsetting that by bringing in contract labor, and that's partially offset that decrease. Other areas of increases, Hannah Street includes a $5,000 increase and is related to an old invoice from a prior year that was just received. And we have an information technology $6,000 increase related to cybersecurity. So that was brought to council before, and we're offsetting that by the $6,000. We don't need the $6,000 server, so we're using that for that cybersecurity. In capital expenses and admin, so the reduction is happening, 46,000. Budget software implementation. We had budgeted $40,000 to implement budget software. We've kind of put that on hold. A couple of reasons. We're implementing payroll software. We're like ADP are going to take over payroll. That implementation is taking a lot longer than we thought. It's difficult to transition to a new payroll, but we're getting there. And once we get there, it'll be much better, because then we can turn to them for all the payroll issues, and staff won't have to be concerned as much as they were in the past. But also the other $6,000 reduction is the server replacement that we don't need. So going on to community development, we've got a forecast decrease in expenses of $16,000, and this is primarily due to salaries and benefits that are lower, that are forecast to be less than what was budgeted. In the fire department, we've got an operating expense increase of $40,000. This increase is related to the community emergency preparedness. So there's a $29,000 increase in costs, but that is fully offset by the $29,000 grant. So we have an increase in expense, but we have the increase in the revenue happening. We also have a $10,000 increase related to the Joint Fire Services Board. And that happened because I guess they were moving to 40 hours from what they were, and it didn't get picked up in the budget initially. So that's a $10,000 forecast increase. In capital expenditures, the fire department are forecast to increase by $20,000. Now, this increase is related to the fire protection grant, and the grant was budgeted, but it looks like we may have missed budgeting the expense that related to that grant. And that's what I'm seeing, that the expense part of it isn't there, or the expenditure. So public works, operating expenses. So we got a big one there. It's an increase of forecast increase of $223,000, driven mainly by salary and benefits increase of $40,000, sand and salt $186,000, hardtop patching $15,000, and snow plowing $15,000. So you see there's a big chunk of that increase that's related to winter, what's happened in the past winter. The sand and salt and the snow plowing are forecast higher than what was budgeted. So these increases are offset by other decreases. So vehicle and equipment maintenance, there's a number of accounts related to vehicle and equipment maintenance. And we've seen that some of these accounts are quite a bit over, but other ones are under. And in total, it's forecast to be $15,000 below budget. There's also a lot of different accounts within public works where $18,000 is the total under budget. I want to take a look at the salaries and benefits though. So this $40,000 increase in salaries and benefits is coming from overtime, $55,000 increase. And I'm going to talk about overtime a little bit later on its own, because it's a particular area that needs to be carefully watched. Casual wages are $29,000 increase, in lieu of benefits, $10,000 increase. Full-time salaries, there's a $50,000 decrease forecast because they have some staff vacancies. So they've got some savings in their salaries and benefits, but we see increases in overtime. In capital expenditures, we've got they're forecast to be below budget. Roads capital, the $31,000 decrease is related to Flinton Road and gravel, and it's because of better prices that they managed to get. Capital equipment, $25,000 decrease, again, better pricing. Bridges, $26,000 decrease is better pricing. So all of these projects are going ahead. We just got better prices than what was in the budget. So it's a very good thing. Sanitary sewer and water, they have to be balanced accounts. So although there might be some differences within those accounts, they have to be offset by transfers to reserve, and they have a net zero impact on taxation or any deficit. I'm just going to skip. Oh yeah, so water, we talked about water, and that there's a 244,000 below budget, and that's the deferral of the HSWS part of the project to 2027. It was already planned to be between 26 and 27. It's just going to be a bit more pushed into 2027. So garbage disposal have forecast to decrease net 22,000, and this reflects several small increases across a lot of accounts. Also, this is where we see a $9,000 increase for hazardous waste removal because it wasn't previously budgeted, and a 10,000 decrease in bulk items removal. Parks and Arena. Now, Parks and Arena have to be looked at together, and the reason is because the salaries and benefits for Parks and Arena, the way they're budgeted is the budget is split 50-50, 50% parks, 50% arena. That's not how the actuals happen. So when they do their timesheets, the actuals get charged however they're working, and we can see what's happening here. So salaries and benefits for parks. So let me just see. As a result, $120,000 increase in park salaries and benefits. So parks has a $120,000 increase in salaries, but it's being offset by $66,000 decrease in arena and benefits. But in total, we have a net increase of $54,000 in salaries and benefits in parks and arenas. And this increase is primarily related to a $30,000 increase in casual and student wages, where it appears that there was one student budgeted, but we've got 2 students working. So there's a $15,000 increase, and the casual is costing more than, or working more hours than I guess were planned in the initial budget. Full-time staff, we have a $14,000 increase, but that includes a $12,000 council-approved wage increase for an employee, plus $2,000 related to callback pay. Benefits are increasing, a forecast increase of $10,000, and it's related to higher salary costs. So when we were looking at this, we pulled out overtime. Now, in the past, overtime was always discharged into your salary line object, so you never knew what the overtime was. So I asked, what we did was we had that, there was an old payroll system that we're still using until ADP took over. So we went back into that old payroll system in 2026, and I said, pull out that overtime out of the salaries. I want to see what it is, because the managers aren't even seeing it. So when we went and we pulled out those costs out of that, it's $77,000 we've spent to date in overtime. Now, the good thing about the ADP payroll software implementation we're doing, it's going to be every pay overtime will be coded to an overtime account. So managers will be able to see what's being charged in overtime, whereas in the past, they were never able to see that. Now, so we've got a total of $77,000 already in overtime. The only overtime that was budgeted in 2026 was in Public Works, and the amount budgeted was $45,000. Well, they're already at like $70,000. So the forecast that I put in the public accounts was $100,000. So it's about 50 some $1,000 over. So overtime's an issue, and normally overtime's an issue when there's not enough staff. In this case, it's hard to determine what's the issue. I did talk to Public Works manager, and you know, with the extreme weather that we had, there was so many hours put into snow plowing, and this is kind of what's resulted. But not only have we paid out $77,000, we've got a liability here. So on the last page of the report, I asked our Deputy Treasurer Arthur to go and look at what is the liability? How many hours do people have outstanding in overtime? And you can see that last table on the report. In admin, there are 81 hours of overtime banked at almost $4,000. In parks, we've got 315 banked at $11,000. In economic development, 156 hours banked at 6,000 hours. And Public Works has over 1,000 hours at almost $40,000. So this is like a $60,000 liability that's outstanding. This isn't necessarily going to get paid because most of these people take it in time off, particularly in like the admin area. But what I want to show you is that look at the hours that people are working, and it's a very big liability. So attached to this report is again a detailed of every single account, and in total though, it's only showing a $39,000 deficit, which is actually quite good. And like I said, normally things get better. The only concern that I have again is overtime and extreme weather events, and how much are we going to end up spending in overtime? And that's it.
Thank you very much, Cindy. And I think some of consultation or advice that we might give to the next council as well is to make sure that they, when they're looking at budget, that they take into account more severe weather events when they're budgeting, because like you say, I think we've had 3 this year already. At least 3 this year already. And now one thing I wanted to ask you, when it comes to overage on the snow plowing, we do have a snow plow reserve. And we can draw from that to cover that overage.
So
And-
if I may
Yes.
speak to that. So
Yeah.
we did budget for $150,000 of reserve funding for snow for winter maintenance. I have already put that $150,000 into this budget, which is why we only have a $39,000 deficit, because I've
Okay.
already plugged that $150,000 in there. But there
Okay.
is still more money in the reserve to cover that.
Okay, thank you. I think the reason why we've always, even when some of us were on previous councils, we always had that snow plowing reserve, because there was sometimes, like, you didn't use nearly your budget and you were able to top it up. And then other times you had to really draw on it considerably, such as what we've had to do this year. And but anyway, I'm glad to know that we have that reserve budget there and we're using it wisely. Does anybody have any questions? They will. Yes, Councillor Valley-Cat.
Yeah, through the mayor to the treasurer. So I'm just looking at the overtime hours, and you are right, they're somewhat disconcerting. But I'm curious, was there ever a comparison done with previous years to see how far we are out of line or in line with what's happened previously?
So through you, your worship, they didn't track overtime separately in previous years. It was all tracked in the salary account and it wasn't pulled out. I've never, like, there isn't overtime accounts and it wasn't tracked there, which is, anyway, it won't be like that going forward. Now, mind you, we probably can go into the Easy Pay system, which is the payroll system in the prior years, and try and pull out that data for the past couple of years. So if you think that might be a worthwhile thing, perhaps we could try and go back for 25 and 24 and just try and extract that data out and compare it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to create a whole bunch of work for you, but it just may broadly kind of give us some indicators as to, are we in online or were we way out of whack this year because of the weather events, because they were so unique, and we had a lot of little plows going a lot of time, which meant we had people driving them all the time as opposed to tandems doing the work and doing it quicker. But I don't want to create a lot of excessive work for you. We can't change what's happened, but we can learn from our previous experience if you can access that information.
Okay.
Any other questions, Councillor Valley-Cat? No. Councillor Fleeler.
Well, your worship, I'm a little bit confused here. I added up that we've got $285,000 in increases, but we've only got a $37,000 deficit.
We have a
I-
$39,000 net deficit, and that includes all the increases and decreases.
We saved in other departments.
Well, I don't know. I don't see it that way, but anyway, I'll have to take a better look at it.
Before we go on to Deputy Mayor.
Oh, I'm just answering, because, and she also plugged that with another $150,000 from that other account.
Yeah, Councillor Palmetier, do you have any comments? No, thank you. Deputy Mayor DeMarche? Okay, thank you very much. Very detailed report. Wow. Thank you very much, Cindy, for all the effort that you and your team, Arthur, and put into preparing these for us. So grateful that we have you leading the charge in that regard. Bad expression, charge. No, we don't want to charge anything. Okay. Be it resolved, the council received the second quarter forecast 2026 report as provided. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Rapids Road information, please? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councilor Valiquette. Thank you, Councilor Palmetier. Over to you, Ryan.
Through the chair, my report's in front of you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, any questions from council? Yes, Councilor Fleeler.
Your worship, I'm totally confused here. I was gonna ask that we rescind the motion, 12.5. We asked specific things to be dealt with. And I see one thing, the safety concern. I also revert back to when we did our road tour. We traveled these roads. We looked at most things that we have. We didn't discuss anything. Now all of a sudden we're jumping through hoops trying to get stuff done. This Rapids Road is actually a main arterial road. We looked at it years ago and tarred and chipped it because of that fact. The traffic that's on that road made it feasible to tar and chip it. We just 3 weeks ago, we talked that we were gonna wait before we start tearing all these roads apart. My honest opinion is that if we could continue to patch, and when the next council comes in, we need to get funding. We need to try to get funding. We need this road. We need it up to. I think it's designated Class 6 road, and I would say by the amount of traffic on it, it's way down or way up. It's probably a Class 2, Class 3 road. But if you go out there and just sit there, the traffic goes by there. It is, and Alan did a traffic count on most roads every year. A lot of guys don't believe that, but I remember seeing he used that little rubber hose, and he'd have it here, there, and all over. I don't think that we need to just start ripping up roads, and I said that last council meeting. We need to get funding and put a plan in place to recover these roads. Anyway, I don't know if I'd have any success rescinding this motion or not, but
Did we already ask for it to be rescinded? Can we do it again? At the beginning, you asked that it be taken from the agenda.
I asked for it to be struck from the
The
agenda.
agenda, that's right.
It was because it was contrary to
Yes,
the.
so if you want to, you can, this is different than,
okay,
Definitely
well, I'll put that forward then, that we rescind motion 12.5 from our previous meeting. And I need a seconder.
thank you, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marsh. All in favor?
Recorded vote, Mayor, please.
Can you request it or does he request it?
I'll request.
Okay.
for a vote, yeah.
Excuse me, Mayor, could I have 5 minutes?
No, I'm sorry, it's not
I
permitted.
lived there 42 years.
I know, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we can't open the discussion to the floor. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, though.
So Councillor Fleeler has requested to rescind the resolution 12.5 from the previous council meeting on July 21st, which I will read out. The resolution was as follows. Whereas on Whereas on April 28, 2026, council passed the Public Works Report Consideration for Surface Treated Roadways. And whereas the report recommended converting certain failing surface treated roads back to gravel, including sections of Rapids Road, Lynch and Labarge Road, Morton Road, and Palmetier Road. And whereas the recommendations were based on the 2024 Roads Needs Study, which identified these roads as Class 6 roads with low traffic volumes. And whereas the municipality does not currently have a comprehensive program that evaluates the long-term viability of maintaining roads in their existing condition, in bracket hardtop, tar and chip, or gravel, nor one that considers the varied uses of these roads, including residential, commercial, and tourism-related needs. And whereas the municipality does not have traffic counting equipment and current traffic data relies on current traffic data relies on historical counts. And whereas the 2026 capital budget approved $15,000 for the purchase of an electronic sign, and whereas council has previously discussed that an electronic sign may not be suitable for the municipality, and whereas $15,000 would be sufficient to purchase traffic counting equipment for the Public Works Department, and whereas decisions regarding the conversion of the surface treated roads to gravel should be based on current accurate traffic data. Therefore, be it resolved that council place a hold on converting surface treated roads to gravel until staff review individual roads and prioritize based on safety concerns identified. And further, that staff begin developing an impartial assessment tool that incorporates relevant information about each road, including safety considerations and potential liability issues based on its condition 5 years after installation. And further, that staff immediately purchase traffic counting equipment at a cost not to exceed $15,000, funded by repurposing the 2026 capital dollars allocated for the electronic sign. And further, that staff report back to council on the development of a policy for converting surface treated roads to gravel. And further, that the results of the traffic data collected be reviewed at the 2027 budget deliberations.
No, if I may, this was the motion that was passed at the last meeting,
Correct.
4-1.
That's correct.
Is that what you wanted, that motion to be repealed, or did you want this report to be taken out?
I wanted the most to be rescinded because we're not following council direction. We're supposed to. We were supposed to get information. We're supposed to get traffic counts. We're supposed to get and bring the information back to council. We haven't done that.
But I think when that motion was read, Councillor Palmetier asked that it include that, yes, everybody agreed that we would leave it till then, but if it was identified as dangerous or a safety concern, that we not wait until we have information, that we move on the advice of our public works manager and address the situation. And I think that's what we voted on, but I know I'm turning it over to you, Councillor Palmetier.
Yes, your worship, that was the way I understood it at the last meeting. Was we didn't want to wait on things to deteriorate further for it to become an even bigger safety concern.
And I think the other thing that we agreed, if we did something like that, this council would not determine if it stays gravel. It would be the next council that would determine the surface treatment that would be applied. And regardless, when we move, if the next council decided they wanted to go back to pavement, the road would have to be pulverized anyway in order before we can do the resurfacing. Am I correct on that as well?
Are you looking at me, your worship?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, I can't tell where you're looking. So yeah, that was my understanding. Like, I'm not saying that Rapids Road should not be a hard topped road. But it's a road that I live near, I travel, and those shoulders are extremely dangerous, and the patch doesn't work on those shoulders. The unfortunate part is a lot of people don't ride based on road condition, and the road condition is entirely council's fault. I'm not blaming the people there. It's our fault, and the province and the feds for not keeping up with the what we used to have for funding. So I'm not blaming people, but people still drive on it as if it's a hard top road like Crookston Road. They still travel at those speeds, and it is very dangerous. And as well, we are going to pulverize the road regardless if it's going to be repaired. It might as well be safe for the time being. That was why I asked for it to be brought back. I was put in this position on council to make hard decisions, not just popular decisions. For one, I'm always, all of us around the table have always put safety first, I believe, and we care about the constituents. So that's why I asked for safety concerns to come back, and the public works manager and his staff have identified this. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Over to you, Deputy Mayor Marsh.
I agree with what Councillor Fleeler said. This is not what was agreed. Yeah, the wording that was used was the safety, that we go ahead with if the safety concerns are brought up. But I have the motion here and clear in front of me, and I'm going to read the excerpt here. And whereas decisions regarding the conversion of surface treated roads to gravel should be based on current and accurate traffic data. I see no data in this report. And that road, like what was mentioned here, is one of the highest traffic arterial roads in that area. And not only that, if you compare it to Marlbank Road or North Napanee Road or Moneymore, it has a couple bad spots in it. People need to drive to the conditions of the road. We're here to make hard decisions, like Councillor Fleeler said, but however, I don't know if anybody else got phone calls and emails and texts. I'm also here to listen to what their concerns are. I don't think it's really understood. I drove that road last Friday, and that road hasn't changed since the last time I drove it 3 weeks ago at the last meeting. So I would really like to know what the urgency is to handcuff and pulverize this road, to handcuff the next council should they choose to just repair the spots. Otherwise, you're going to incur the cost of the pulverization now, and there is a cost to that, and there is a cost to putting gravel down once it's pulverized. So I would like to know, what is the urgency in this road? It didn't change in the last 3 weeks that I drove it. But and part of that motion that was passed last time also included an impartial assessment, which includes the safety. I haven't seen no impartial assessment of any of them. And in fact, I don't know why it's being treated any differently than the other three that are on the list: Morton, LaBarge, Lynch. So this road with more traffic in the same condition is being put on the chop block. This is concerning.
My understanding too is when you said that the other ones, Morton and the other roads and everything, the assessment made by the roads manager team is that those roads are okay right now. They eventually will likely have to be done, but they do not present a safety concern. And because they don't present a safety concern, and following through with the addition by Councillor Palmetier to Councillor Valiquette's motion, that those would be pushed off to the next council. I think our public works manager has identified, first of all, we hire an individual that's an expert in looking at these things. That's why we defer to them to make these, provide recommendations to us on what they think our road should be or not be. He's come forward and he's identified that there are major safety concerns. He goes into detail on what happens when we start patching that road and the impacts that it's having. And it's an exercise of futility from what we read. The point is that he's identified now, okay, that this is a safety concern. This now is registered and recorded. If there is an accident on that road, okay, the liability on this municipality is severe. Now, I know Councillor Fleeler has always talked about liability and the need to be ready and be prepared to make sure that we don't find ourselves in situations where someone could lose their life, especially when we have identified that it is a safety concern. I put my faith into the person I hired to provide me with these decisions. This man knows his work. He knows conditions of roads. He knows the provincial code. He knows everything about what is a level of road, what kind of services should I have, everything. And so I will put my faith into his recommendations. So the recommendation right now on the table is to rescind the motion. Am I correct? Okay, so we had moved by Councillor Fleeler, seconded by Deputy Mayor DeMarche, and then requested recorded vote by Councillor Fleeler. So Laurie, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, so for the motion that I read earlier, I will start with Councillor Fleeler. How do you vote?
In favor to send it.
Deputy Mayor Demarche, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Palmetier, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Valakat, how do you vote?
Against.
Mayor DeGenova, how do you vote?
Against.
It's defeated 3-2.
So
So can I get a mover and a seconder to table the Rapid Roads information? Thank you, Councillor Valakat, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. So go ahead.
So going back, if safety is a concern and to not handcuff the next council should they decide, again, I am not seeing the urgency. I think that the prudent step right now would be to drop the speed limit temporarily on Rapids Road as opposed to handcuffing an entire council. This could cost $100,000 to the council that wants to maybe repair it, as opposed to $400,000 or $500,000 doing it. And there is a cost of the gravel that was not budgeted for this. You're not going to pulverize it and leave it the way it is. You're gonna have to put gravel down until the next council gets their budget in place and next spring has to fix it. So this is not what was talked. We already talked about this once, and this is we're back on this again without the proper information. And I do want to record a vote on this, please.
Sure. Anybody else, any comments? Yes, Councillor Palmetier.
Your worship, we went around this in circles, the voting back and forth. We both know we want to hear the information. That's what we're trying to get here. The big thing with reducing a speed limit is it's only good if it's enforced. Doesn't stop the safety concern. Now, this road is not repairable. It's not repairable. It needs to be pulverized regardless. So we're either going to wait for the new council to be the bunch of jerks that tear it up, or we do the right thing, because the issue isn't what happened in the last 3 weeks or the next 3 weeks. It's how is this road going to handle potentially a wet fall and then the frost this winter. Those shoulders are terrible. They damage plows this winter. They're dangerous for students who are cold patching or staff who are cold patching. The road needs rebuilt. It's nobody's fault. The road's been there for 19 years. It's reached its lifespan. It should have been capped 10 years ago if we wanted to do it the cheap way. That's came and went. We've waited, like most councils, most municipalities in the province, we've waited for the program to come back from the province and the feds. It's not coming back. So we have to make tough decisions for the safety of the residents to try to get through another winter. If the next council was going to repair that road and put it back into tar and chip, they're a step ahead by having the road pulverized. It is now prepared. They might have an advantage when securing someone to do the road because they can be the first to start. So there's more positives in my book than there are negatives. The only negative is maybe the view that it has that council let a road get neglected so much that it gets pulverized. That's the reality, regardless of if it's pulverized or not. So we have to make a tough decision. And I personally believe that for the safety of the residents, the only safe thing to do is to pulverize that road, especially because of the shoulder wear. That's what I really see is the wear on the shoulders. It narrows the road, and when traffic meets, they're forced to those shoulders. It's bad. It's extremely bad up that stretch.
Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Yes, Councillor Valakat.
So, and Councillor Palmetier said it, we've gone around and around, we're beating a dead horse. I'm of the same opinion, and you can obviously hear the passion in Councillor Palmetier's voice. We're here ultimately to make decisions that work or in the best interest of public safety. And that was the reason the addition was made to that motion that he put in there, so we could come back and discuss things that involved public safety. I don't want to be part of the group that doesn't do anything. And to the point of the speed, you can put whatever sign up you want, unless there's enforcement, that people are just going to drive the way they want. So pulverizing the road, although not the most appetizing thing to do, is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Deputy Mayor Marsh, and then we're going to a vote.
So we talk about safety of the roads. Has anybody drove north on Rapids Road lately? And you talk about the gravel roads being safe. I'll tell you, that side's washed out pretty bad, and that'll send you in the ditch quicker than have to slow down and get over well. So I don't see any argument for the safety when I see the gravel road on the other side worse than the condition of that road. All I'm saying is that this is going, there's no, I don't know what the big rush is here, but you're going to handcuff the next council. And on the access to safety, the gravel road's only as good as they're maintained. And from, I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but if you drive north on Rapids Road, that was a washboard today. So I'm having a tough time swallowing that argument.
And sorry, are you going to say something, Councilor Palmetier, or that you want to, or no, go ahead. Sorry.
Your worship, like Rapids Road North may be bad, but we can go there tomorrow and fix it. It's fixable. We can't fix what's currently on the other side of Rapids Road. We also got 3 inches of rain. All of our staff was tied up fixing roads that washed out. And Highway 7 washed out. There's a road that's built extremely well, but couldn't take it. So I don't think that tar and chip or not is going to affect whether or not we have road washouts. And they take the priority, keeping people able to move across the road regardless of the condition. But at least our staff can fix that road. It's not gone. Thank you. I'm done, your work.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Great discussion, everyone. Thank you for sharing your views. The motion reads,
I could read it.
pardon me?
I could read the motion.
Oh, is this recorded? Okay,
Yep,
sorry. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
That's okay. So the motion
Do you
is,
have the mover and seconder on that?
I do, Councillor Valakat and Councillor Palmetier.
It's not.
And then Deputy Mayor Demarche requested a recorded vote
Okay, thank you.
for the resolution as follows. Be it resolved that council receive the Rapids Road information report regarding the condition of Rapids Road, and further that council direct staff to proceed with pulverizing the 4.4 kilometer section of Rapids Road, and further that staff bring forward recommendations for the final surface treatment once a road assessment tool and more information is available to determine the best surface treatment for this road to be determined by the next council. Deputy Mayor Demarche, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Palmetier, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Fleeler, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Valakat, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mayor DeGenova, how do you vote?
In favor.
The motion is carried 3-2.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 7.3.2, motion, a motion of deferring Morton Road, Palmetier, Lynch, and Labarge roadway. Could I have a move and a seconder to get that on the table, please? Thank you, Councillor Valakat. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, any questions on this? Well, deferring these to the next council. Seeing none. Be it resolved that council receive the Morton, Palmetier, Lynch, and Labarge roadway information report is presented, and further that Morton, Palmetier, Lynch, and Labarge roadways continue to be repaired until a road assessment tool and more information is available to determine the best surface treatment for these roads to be determined by the next council. All in favor? Thank you. Water treatment. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the water treatment plant upgrades and award recommendation, please? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Over to you, I guess, Ryan.
Through the chair, we posted our tender on July 9th. It closed on August 6th. We had 2 compliant bidders who submitted pricing. One was Thousand Island Mechanical at $1,037,725. The second bid was Strong Bros Limited. Their bid came in at $1,491,400. Both of them were compliant. However, Thousand Island Mechanical, as you can see, quite a bit cheaper. They have a good track record and know what they're doing. With the budget we had set this year, we will be within budget to do it. However, we will need an extra, it'll put us over budget, by 12,000 that we can budget for next year.
And this comes out of the water reserves.
Yeah, we have 73% of this funded at this point from the
Yes.
province. So the numbers are there. We also have from Thousand Island Mechanical that wasn't brought in this report, a $50,000 contingency. So that's whether they need it or not. So we might be able to save money on that too. So it may not put us over budget.
And it's not something we're borrowing for because it's out of the
No.
water reserve fund, so it's good, that's right. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none. Be it resolved, the council received the water treatment plant upgrades award recommendation report is presented, and further the council award contract 2026-7773 to 1000 Island Mechanical Limited. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you. Community development, could I have a move? Could I have a mover and a second to table the backyard and program background report, please? A mover and a second. Thank you, Councilor Valiquette. Thank you, Councilor Fleeler. Over to any questions of Cindy on her report? Yes.
So I read the report over the years. We've had some inquiries on this issue, but I just by reading through it, I'd like to see a couple of things added in, like consulting with the residents, how they feel about the idea as well.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
And more information for our nearing neighboring municipalities in the immediate area, because those ones are quite far away, quite large, Kingston and stuff. So I'd like to see our neighboring municipalities where they are on that.
You did do, oh, you mean our neighbors, not
Our neighboring
yeah, yeah, yeah.
municipalities. And whether a lot of them I've seen did not include urban areas, so I'd like to add that as well. They're usually when they have anything I've seen they adopted, they're in the rural zone. And I think for to proceed on this, I don't think a bylaw would so much be required initially, just a report to say what you found, and if council at that time, you're not gonna have this done by the end of this term anyways.
That's great.
So just a report to say, you know, this issue came up and this is the results I found, this was the idea. I think just the report would be enough to go that far. I think putting forward a bylaw might be a bit premature depending on the council of the day.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I agree. There's more research that has to be done. You table the first time.
First steps,
we're doing
preliminary
this.
steps.
One of the things that I think we need to do, when we've entertained this before, when I was on council previously, the grave concern was the impact on Drains Poultry,
Yes.
a major industry within our community.
Mhm.
And their concern at the time was bird flu. If somebody gets bird flu, they might not necessarily recognize it as bird flu, just toss out the chicken and then you could have an epidemic. Okay, and they could severely be impacted by that. So we might want to get their input into this.
Okay.
I think there should be an education component. And I think what we could do is we could work with the Horticultural Society in that regard, doing a little training about what it means to undertake, like, you know, if we get to the point where we're going to do it,
Mhm.
like, you know,
I
that,
agree.
like, how much to, what it takes from you to raise chickens and whatnot, and the pros and the cons and whatnot. I think there should be annual inspections. I think, I think there should be, the fine, if you breach it and you're not, following the rules, whatever we set up, I think there should be a large fine, not a small fine, a large fine. Okay, because people got to take this seriously. You're working with animals, well, birds in this case. And there's a certain way that these animals have to be treated. And so we just want to make sure that everything is above par. Councillor Palmetier, you had wanted to say something.
So previously I attended the University in Guelph. The city of Guelph has that program. I had a lot of friends. I was in agricultural sciences, so I had a few friends that maybe missed what they did back home and had chickens in their backyard. Now these were 1/4 acre lots, very small lots, very close together. They seem to have a really successful program, so they might be a really good resource to talk to about some of the limitations they have and how they handle it, because they also, with the university, they also have their own research facilities with poultry and other birds, so they need to be careful of that as well. And I just think if we're going to approach it, they probably would be a great resource and happy to share what they've seen as pros and cons. So, but a good initiative to look into further and get the actual fundamentals settled before we bring it back to the new council. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay. Be it resolved, the council received the backyard hen program background report as presented, and further, the council support continued review of the backyard hen program and direct staff to consult with building services, planning and zoning, municipal law, enforcement, public health, and other applicable agencies. And further, that staff return to council with draft regulations and a proposed bylaw for council, I'm gonna say for the next council
I think
consideration.
we were eliminating the draft bylaw. We're just
Oh, does
doing
this
a
say-
proposal. Can we?
Oh, yeah, no.
Can we amend that?
I mean, I think staff returned to council with draft regulations, okay, for the next council consideration. And further, that staff report back to council with recommendations respecting licensing applicable next council with recommendations respecting licensing requirements, applicable fees, enforcement procedures, and anticipate administrative or operational impacts associated with implementation of a backyard hen program. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, Derek's not here. Okay, so anyway, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the fire department update, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche, and thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Reports are typically self-explanatory. Derek's not here, but I can't say, does anybody have any questions? Because the questions are going to be directed at the CAO, or are we good? Okay, no question. Movers and seconders are not recorded here. They're coming.
No, we're there.
Oh, they're not on mine.
Oh, they're mine.
Okay, be it resolved that council receive the fire department update as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the animal control and livestock investigation report from July 2026, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on said report? Be it resolved that council received the July 2026 animal control and livestock investigation report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. It's funny, none of that shows up when you put it in my, I'll just accept that you do. Okay. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the 2026-2030 Joint Compliance Audit Committee? This is in regards to the election. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche, and thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on this? Seeing none. Be it resolved that council received the 2026-2030 Joint Compliance Audit Committee report as presented, and further that council approve the establishment and appointment of members to a joint municipal election compliance audit committee for the municipality to read participating member municipalities of Hastings County and the Algonquin Lakeshore District School Board. And further that council approve the joint Hastings County 2026-2030 election compliance audit committee's terms of reference for the 2026-2030 term of office. And further that bylaw number 2026-56 be a bylaw to establish and appoint members of the joint municipal election compliance audit committee for the 2026-2030 term of office as listed on this agenda be approved. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the property tax policies? There's three of them. Mover and a seconder?
Your worship.
Yep.
Could I, before we start, I would move the council move into camera under section 2392 E and F of the Municipal Act to receive urgent advice regarding an imminent high value potential litigation matter and serious financial risk exposure affecting the corporation of the municipality of Tweed.
I turn that, I defer to you too.
Councillor Fleeler has tabled a motion to move into closed session, so council can vote on that motion as a motion on the table. If council feels the need to go into closed session to discuss whatever it may be.
Well, he says he's got
they
information
can-
that could lead to litigation or something, so do we?
Can we go into closed session since our agenda's already been done, or do we have to
Yeah.
defer and go into closed?
Yeah, through the mayor, you can dispense with notice, but it's up to council to vote on that resolution if they wish to.
Is it sensible that we go into closed now or say?
Well, it has to do with 10.5, 10.6, bylaw 2026-59 and 2026-60.
Yes, Lucas.
It may be advisable for council to if necessary to address, have staff review the nature of the matter that Councillor Fleeler is raising, and if there's a need for a special meeting of council or at a future meeting of council to discuss that matter, without obviously discussing it in open council, if Councillor Fleeler has something that is relevant and appropriate to be discussed in closed session under the Municipal Act.
Because, but the other thing though is, if I may, and I agree with what you're saying, Councilor Fleeler has indicated that the information he has will influence the decision of these approval of these things. So if we defer, we make the decision and we approve these, and then afterwards we find out what this information Councilor Fleeler has to say, and it would impede our decision.
I'm thinking what perhaps we should do is if we can take a 5-minute recess and we discuss with council, like
Oh,
the
okay.
staff discuss with Councillor Fleeler as to what the idea is that it needs to go into closed, and then we can make the determination if that falls under the rules of going into closed, and then you can make the
Okay.
decision from there.
And then what I would recommend then, once you have that information, if it's something you feel that we should go into close, we continue with the rest of the council meeting, and then we bring those up, three items back and talk it at that time. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to, can I have a move in a seconder to dispense council for a 5-minute break? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier and Valiquette and Deputy Mayor Demarche. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so we were in the throngs of dealing with property tax policy update. There was, we decided to have a quick break to look at something that we considered might have legal implications after review by our staff. They felt it was appropriate that we go ahead and open and continue with the meeting. And now, so I have a mover and a seconder, don't I? Okay. Could I have a mover and a seconder? It's Jimmy.
Jim's phone.
It's a young man trying to get his daughters, but it's coming through my phone.
Oh, you, okay, okay, could I? There you go. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the property tax policies update, please? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Oh my God.
He's got his hand up too. So
No, I did. I got him. I was looking at him and calling him Councillor Valiquette and you, Councillor Palmetier. Okay, any questions on these policies?
Well, we just discussed it, but I feared that, I don't even know what I can say,
Yeah,
like in open council.
you expressed your concerns.
Okay, well, but I had a fear that somebody's job description was being taken away. Somebody's job capacity was being taken away. And they aren't here to speak to it. And if that's the case, then we are in a liable position.
So you
And
just said what
so-
you said that you didn't want to talk about in public.
Well,
I'm sorry.
so, oh, you said that? Anyway, so I was very concerned that we could
Okay,
have a liable
thank you.
situation.
Okay.
So apparently we're good.
Okay,
So
we'll move on. Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh.
So I have concerns about the 3 payment tax policies that's included here. And I do believe it's causing a lot of families hardship. So, and I'm going to speak to both.
I just want to remind you, this bylaw has already been passed
I
by
know, but-
council. This is not
a-
changing anything.
No.
This is separating the bylaw policy that we already passed. And what Cindy has done, she says, it's convoluted in many different ways. I'm just going to take it and compartmentalize it into different separate units. There is no need for us to readdress everything because everybody had their opportunity to do that previously. And we had long, lengthy discussions. Today, we are looking at how she's broken it off. And that's what we're approving today. It's just cleaning this up. You have no new information to share. There's nothing to be shared.
Can I finish? No? I had some other concerns about the rest of this implementation with this municipal assessment.
Go ahead.
Okay. This, my concerns with delegating authority is that that it may create an added barrier to the residents and when they're in their time of need. I think compassion is required, but I also think that'd be the time that we could focus residents on.
Say which one you're looking at, okay?
Well, it's all 2026.
No, there's 3 different bylaws, 3 different ones there, and you're talking about the one that's dealing with.
Well, mine's reading all the same number, so.
Yeah.
Mine's reading 2026-59, all of it. So.
Yeah, there's A, B, and C.
There's A, B, and C.
Okay, let me pull it
Anyway,
up.
you're looking at the one where we would defer. Sorry. Lucas?
What's going on with the mics? Keep going.
Okay, well, when we get to that one, I'll back it up, but I was looking at all the meetings saying, so.
Go
Same
ahead.
bylaw.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. And I just felt that would be the time that we could connect residents to services if they're in need at that point.
Okay, thank you. And any other ones or comments on any of those others? Okay, anybody else? Lucas, what's the problem? People can't hear us?
It's switching mics back and forth, but it seems to be picking up audio. I'm just gonna double check there.
I can hear you.
Seem to be good.
We're okay? You can hear us out there, Jacob? And
Yeah, I
Cindy?
can hear you. Yep.
Okay. First of all, I just want to make a comment. Cindy, thank you for cleaning that up and making it very straightforward. Each of these reads very well, very clear, very concise, and very well written. So thank you for doing that. Since there's no other comments, and did somebody request a recorded vote? Jim, you did, Councillor Fleeler? Okay. Okay, so Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you again then, okay?
Yes. So,
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
So is this vote to Lori, is it on the whole 2026-59? Am I correct? Like
Well,
all
she-
appendices?
Both of them are named in the.
this vote is to accept both bylaws. There's two bylaws, one with the tax policies, which is 2026-59, and the other is 2026-60, which is delegating authority to the Assessment Review Board.
Okay, so I don't have 2026-60. That's why I was doing it the way it was.
So, in your recommendation, it's not there for you?
That email I looked
Oh,
at,
there,
they're
okay,
all there, right?
okay,
So-
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so go.
Okay, so
continue.
Councillor Fleeler has requested a recorded vote. It was moved by Councillor Palmetier and seconded by Councillor Valaket. And the resolution reads, be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of Tweed adopt the three property tax policies under bylaw 2026-59 and 2026-60, delegating authority to the Assessment Review Board, the ARB, for section 357, 1D II and D.1 and G, and section 358(1) of the Municipal Act. And Councillor Fleeler, how do you vote?
Not in favor.
Deputy Mayor Demarche, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Palmetier, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Valaket, how do you vote?
In favor.
And Mayor DeGenova, how do you vote?
In favor.
The motion is carried 3-2.
Thank you. Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the committee board reports, please? Thank you, Councillor Valaket, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Any questions on the reports? I know I have different resolutions down for the other ones, but seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the committee board reports as presented. All in favor? Okay, and then I'm going down to a severance application. This is severance application B4/26. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table that? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Any questions on that particular severance application? Seeing none, be it resolved that council grant consent for severance application B4/26 as recommended by the Committee of Adjustment and Planning with the following conditions. 1, all realty taxes are paid in full. 2, parkland fee is paid in the amount of $750 for the new lot. 3, Public Works Manager is satisfied with safe site entrance on the severed lot and with roadside ditching and drainage. 4, municipal severance fee of $500 is paid in full. And 5, rezoning of this severed parcel to rural residential. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table zoning amendment D14-05-2026, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Valaket. Any questions on said zoning amendment? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the zoning amendment public meeting report as presented, and further that council consider passing bylaw 2026-57 for zoning amendment D14-05-2026. All in favor? Thank you. Bylaws. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Bylaw number 2026-55. A bylaw to authorize long-term borrowing pursuant to the issue of debentures of Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation in the principal amount of $538,860 towards the cost of capital works. Could I move in a second to get that on the table? Thank you, Councillor Valaket. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions? Seeing none. Be it
Just a quick one.
Sure.
Was this on par with what we had anticipated? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-55 to authorize long-term borrowing pursuant to the issue of debentures to Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, OILC, be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Can I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-56? Sorry, just one moment. Okay.
Oh, okay, I thought.
I don't even get that. I don't have that. Nothing's showing up on my screen there.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Bylaw number 2026-56, a bylaw to establish and appoint members to a joint municipal election compliance audit committee for the 2026-2030 term of office and to repeal bylaw number 2022-55. A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on that bylaw? Seeing none, be resolved that bylaw number 2026-56 to establish and appoint members to a joint municipal compliance audit committee for the 2026-2030 term of office be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in this open council this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a second to table bylaw number 2026-57? A bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2012-30 of the Corporation Municipality of Tweed, re 477 Allure Road. A move and a seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on SID bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-57 to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2012-30 of the Corporation of the Municipality of Tweed at 477 Allure Road be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a second to table bylaw number 2026-50? A bylaw to authorize the municipality of Tweed to enter into a development agreement to be registered untitled as condition of severance B147/23 with Edward Leo Cassidy. A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you very much, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you very much, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on that bylaw? Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-58 to authorize municipality of Tweed to enter a development agreement with Edward Leo Cassidy be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and second to table bylaw number 2026-59? A bylaw to adopt new property tax policies, including tax billing and collection policy, policy tax sale policy, and property tax cancellation, reduction, and refund policy to replace the existing tax collection policy and to repeal bylaw number 22-42. A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Yes,
Your
sir.
Worship, I voted against these. I need a recorded vote again, I think, to be, yeah, okay, for both of these.
Okay, so I'll leave it over to you, Lori.
Okay, Councillor Fleeler has requested a recorded vote for the resolution as follows. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-59 to adopt new property tax policies, including property tax billing and collection policy, property tax sale policy, and property tax cancellation, reduction, and refund policy be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of August 2026. Councillor Fleeler, how do you vote?
Against.
Deputy Mayor Demarche, how do you vote?
Against.
Councillor Palmetier, how do you vote?
In favor.
Councillor Valiquette, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mayor DeGenova, how do you vote?
In favor.
It's carried 3-2.
Okay, and then we're on bylaw number 2026. Sorry. So we're on 2026-60. A bylaw to delegate applications received under subsection, oh my God, all these numbers. 3571 D, Roman numeral 2, comma, D.1 and G, and subsection 3581 and 9 of the Municipal Act 2001 C25 as amended to the Assessment Review Board in accordance with subsection 357(11) and 358(12) of the Municipal Act 2001 C25 as amended. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councilor Valiquette. Thank you, Councilor Palmetier. Any questions on this?
Could we have that recorded as well?
Sure. You have,
They were tied together, so.
A recorded vote has been requested by Councillor Fleeler, as just read by the mayor, so I won't reread it if that's okay.
yes, with all those numbers in it.
With all those numbers.
That's right.
So call for vote, sorry. I have Councillor Fleeler, how do you vote?
Not in favor.
Deputy Mayor Demarche,
Against.
Councillor Palmetier,
In favor.
Councillor Valiquette,
In favor?
Mayor DeGenova.
In favor.
The motion is carried 3-2.
Okay, items for consideration. Now, Councillor Fleeler, you had one here for the Stokoe Ball Diamond Big O. Are you good with that now that that has been repaired?
Apparently, it's been addressed, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to the next one. Southwest Public Health requests the municipality to support for their West Nile Virus Preparedness Prevention Plan 2026. Could I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on that? Seeing none, be it resolved that council direct staff to provide the requested support letter to Southeast Public Health for their West Nile Virus Preparedness and Prevention Plan 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table correspondence information, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Is there anything in particular? Yes, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Just a couple of things here. I noticed our EORN report, they have 2 or 3 new towers operational in our town, in our municipality. I was wondering, Mayor, if your next meeting, is it possible to get the location of those towers? Because it just says,
Well, but they haven't been coming lately, so I guess what
it just says Thomasburg and, you know,
Right,
Highway
right, right,
70
right,
Kennel. It
right.
doesn't say like where they are,
Okay.
right?
Maybe
And
we
what they
want a
are.
map.
Yeah, like a map if it's Rogers or Bell or who it is, right?
Okay.
And the other question I had for you is,
Can you just put that into an email for me?
yeah, I'll zip you out.
Thank you.
email. The other question I had was, there was that correspondence from Paula Banks at Rideau Lakes.
Yeah.
Now, have we been approached by Alto to have a meeting with the mayor and CEO and sign an NDA?
I reported on that at the last meeting that I had the meeting with Alto. They asked for me to sign an NDA and I said no.
Okay,
I said, I cannot withhold information from my council. And I said, nor from my public. And I said, I've expressed my opposition to this. And so I would be doing a disservice to council and to our public. And they understood. And and that the other reason why is too, is an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, typically is if you have 2 people competing on the same project, you can see something like that because you could share information with me and I could share it with the other person. There's nobody competing on this project. It's just one person doing this project.
my
So-
question is, it makes you wonder why they're even requesting the mayors and
Yeah.
CEOs to sign that.
I
What are they hiding?
Yeah, so no, Ron and I met with them and we both said, nope, sorry, we can't do that. And so that's what we said.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Any other, I just had a couple of things I wanted to support. Here we are. 12.2. No. Anyway, that's gone. I'm good with what we have. Is there anything else anybody would like to bring? Yes, go ahead.
I
Councillor
just
Fleeler.
wanted to mention the community skate program.
Yes, that's 12.2.
Lions Club and the youth. Our youth group really, they had a barbecue on the weekend, and I think they did quite well.
They did.
They raised about $800, I saw.
$800?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the opportunity's there for anybody to donate still and donate skates, whatever. I think it's a good idea.
Well, I think I'm going to do a shout out. As everybody knows, Quanah's Chicken Barbecue is just around the corner. And speaking of our Youth Foundations group here, I reached out to Riverside Campground, Doug McNeil and Nicole, and said, would they be interested in chicken barbecue? They said no, but if you know of people who might need it in your community, we would like to sponsor 10.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, well, I'm part of a Food for All committee and looking at addressing food insecurity for youth. And I said, well, maybe would you mind if these tickets went to a youth foundation's youth group? And they came back and they said, we're going to top that up to 20.
Oh, jeez.
And because Doug was a principal in a high school, and food insecurity was always something that was a concern. So I thought that was a wonderful gesture on their part.
It's amazing for local business to step up.
Yeah,
It sure was. So if you could get me those tickets and I could take them in and see what I got for you guys.
You already got your ticket.
say, did you sell one of the Bob Stills?
No, I'm close. I'm close.
That's very.
I was 160, I think now, so.
Very generous.
Yeah, very. But you know, like that's like Deputy Mayor Demarche just said, that's nice when our community comes out
Oh,
and
yeah.
does things like that.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions or any comments on any of that stuff? Seeing none. Oh my gosh. Be it resolved that the correspondence information be received and filed. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the committee board minutes, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Valiquette. Any questions on those minutes? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the committee board minutes as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Conformatory bylaw. Councillor Palmetier and Councillor Valiquette. Be it resolved that conformatory bylaw 2026-61 be read at first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 11th day of August 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Meeting, a mover and a second to adjourn. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. The rivalry. Be it resolved that council adjourn at Lori.
8:27.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Thank you.